Greetings, fellow prospectors. Maddstone here, and welcome to ICARUS weekly update number 213. And this one's titled Tag-Based Fish Crafting. All right, well, I'm actually here on Frostfall. I was getting in some morning fishing, needed to catch something for breakfast, so that ties in perfectly with this update. Let's go ahead and jump in. Caught a whopper there, look at that. All right, let's put away that fishing pole. So, I've got some fish here. What is tag-based crafting? Well, this all relates to fishing at the moment, especially for what they've done in-game. Basically, if you read through the patch notes, back when they were working on Galileo, I think it was called, when they introduced all the fish, they ran into a problem of they had 60-plus fish models, 50 SKUs, as you will. And the game system they had at the time, the mechanic, was going to make it like impossible to do a new recipe they had called steamed fish. The idea was it was a low-level, tier 1 item that you could just throw on a campfire, but they realized, oh man, we're going to have to make 60 different recipes for everybody to be able, you know, for all the different kinds of fish we have in the game. So they ended up scrapping the steamed fish and came up with the idea of fish chunks, which you crafted. Basically, you caught a fish or even killed a fish like the ones you find in these starting areas. You kill it. Those you got fish chunks from just from killing them and looting them. But if you actually took the time to make a pole and caught some fish, you'd catch them and you were like, oh, well, what do? I'm not tier 2 yet. I don't have a fishing bench, or I'm out in an area where I don't want to have a fishing bench. And your only option was, if you realized it was, you would right click the fish. So we got some fish here. If I right clicked it, I had an option, convert to chunks. But that was it. So it was kind of a one-dimensional deal where you could make the fish chunks. So while they were working on the new, and I'm going to let me just put up a graphic there. I got to scroll over here. Yeah, so while they were working on Dangerous Horizons, they're improving the system. They came up with this idea for tagged-based crafting. So what that means, if you look at the fish now, they actually have a tag underneath their name that says raw fish, freshwater fish. And if I were to catch a saltwater fish, obviously raw fish, saltwater fish. That means that in the crafting system, this device counts as 2 different raw materials depending on the recipes. So we will now see, let me grab out my trusty campfire here, and we'll go ahead and throw in some fuel. Now, if I go over here, I still have the option of convert to chunks, or if I go to my personal crafting, I have a convert to chunk. Now, you got to be careful, because from what I could tell, the right click is easy because it'll just take the fish in your hand, but this one's going to feed left to right. So if I go convert to chunk, it should take this guy. Yeah. Now, I'll show you what that matters in a minute here. Otherwise, I can now go to my campfire and just take a straight up fish. So here's one, drop them on the fire, and it knows there's a new recipe down here called steamed fish, and you notice the requirement is raw fish, not saltwater, not freshwater, just a raw fish. So it doesn't really care what kind it is. So that's kind of where this all comes into, that apparently they're trying to find ways to go back. They said it'll be case by case, but they're hoping there might be some recipes they can clean up where they have an item that can count, you know, have different tags. It sounds like a lot of that's also going to be with the new DLC coming out later this year, that they're going to have recipes where items could count with different tags. But anyway, that's the basics. That's the system. That's what it is. So that's the main addition from the update. Now they also continued to work on the a lot of fishing stuff is really what this should have been called. This is all fishing updates. Along with this, so steam fish have returned. Fish chunk conversion obviously has been moved to where you have a personal, you can right click it, or you can actually do it from your crafting, or if you go to the fishing bench. Now you remember in the past, it didn't have any choice. You just put your fish in here and they started processing automatically. Well, now you can choose, do you want a fillet or do you want chunks? Another thing they're giving us is they're giving us the inside information here of the weight, what fish weights categorize single fillet, double fillet, and so on and so forth. Basically, it's every 3.33 kilograms gets you a fillet. So like if I look at this fish, he's 354. This fish is 411, and this one's 3. Okay, so if I move this over and fillet, I'm gonna just say max all 3 of them. First, I'll get one fish fillet, so this should go to 6. These 2 are over the 3.3 limit, so now I should get 2 off of each of them, so I should end up with 8 and then 10. If I had a fish that was over 6.66, then I would get 3 fillets. All right, we're gonna go ahead and throw those in there. There was also a note that they increased the time on the dried fish. I think it used to be 600 seconds. Let me look here. There was a little note. The notes were in weird spots, but yeah, they buffed the dried fish from 800 seconds to 2,000, so now they last longer before spoiling. So that's another note, all related to fishing. All right, I think we're done with the fishing. I'm going to clean up my mess here. Oh, get the fuel out of there. Pick up my thing. Oh, wow. Hopefully I don't get in trouble with management. I didn't read the sign there. Sorry, guys. Well, I was fishing. I wasn't fishing over here anyway. I was fishing over here. Also, if you're wondering, this is the Frostfall Outpost map. We're currently doing a survival / building series here. That's our greenhouse / fishing area. Here's the main house. Let's go here. We've been started working on our kitchen, and next is the living room and some other decorative stuff. Let's go into our little, call this the pantry / well, it's pantry, yeah. All right, we're gonna throw that in there, throw that in there. I need to eat something here. Let's eat that. Oh, there's some more fish. Don't want to lose that. All right, so they also did some stuff with the mounts. Most notably, the mount UI. They obviously got a lot of feedback from everybody after they released the new UI. And you remember the new UI, they made it a single page, no tabs. And you basically had your inventory, the mounts inventory, then the specs on your mounts, and so forth. And then you had the skill tree permanently there where that used to be the inventory, and then they had the stats section. Well, they've now, just some wind. I can survive that, I think. So now let's go back in. They've now went ahead and put the tabs back in because people complained and they realized, oh, if you have a cart or a animal with a lot of inventory, you have a lot of inventory, it's really hard to manage. Because I got to scroll down even here with a full page. Here I only had this. I would have only seen like 4 lines worth of inventory or less, because it would have started off with the heavy slots and then maybe 2 or 3 lines. So anyway, they kind of jumbled it back up. Now we have our tabs again. There's your skills. It's pretty obvious it's here, so hopefully nobody misses it. And then we keep our stats here. We have our status effects. Yeah, Wild Bill's hungry, which means they ate all the food I had in there. Hang on a second. Otherwise, he'll keep bugging us. Here we go. Have some fruit. Also, there were notes. We'll go inside. Can't control the weather. At least not yet. They haven't given us a tier 5 weather control device. I'm making that up. There isn't. Well, I don't know. There might be. All right, so on the Mammoth, we got some notes on the Mammoth. So they've basically on the Mammoth's double on his stomp, they doubled the stomp radius for the crushing blow attack. And then on the secondary attack, which is where he basically uses his tusk to attack, they double the damage on that. So that's what I'm reading here. Double the stomp radius for crushing blow, double damage when performing secondary attack. Let's see. Also, they added woolly mammoths to the southern Arctic area of Prometheus. I haven't been on Prometheus yet. That's actually the new series that starts this week. But anyway, so they've added those there. So if you were having trouble finding mammoths, they will be available in the South Arctic area as well as apparently the North area. What else we got here? There was a note here to let us know Double XP's been extended another week while the game's on sale. Let's see. And then the big thing with the tag base, they also said if anybody had suggestions of where it could be used, you know, please leave those. They have a special spot. If you're on your main game menu, there's a upvote tab. You click on that, and you can go in there and make comments or recommendations or suggestions for the game, and they get voted on by the community. Let's see what else. Fillets on the fish. Yes, we have steamed fish was returned. We have fish chunk conversion in 3 locations. Right-click the fish, craft it in your personal menu, or crafting on the fishing bench. They also, let's see, I'm looking here, filter stick, yep, so all that previously, yep. And then the sneak peek for next week's update will be adding the Explorer's backpack, a new workshop backpack that says is focused on recovery and movement while traversing Icarus. So that kind of gives us a little bit of a hint that maybe a speed bonus, maybe it'll be a modified version or an updated version of the Survivor backpack, kind of the first one you can buy. So that'll be interesting to see. And I think that's going to cover it. This was kind of a short week. They are on holiday, so they've been kind of doing small little patches, but they they do a weekly update every week since release. So, and I will continue to do these updates and improve my, hopefully improve how I'm handling this. But hopefully you guys are finding these useful. And if you guys are enjoying the videos, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, tips, or tricks, please drop those down below. And until next time, Maddstone out.